All right. Good evening, everyone. You're tuned in to Holla at the Success Scholar. I am the Success Scholar, Haki Shakur Ahmed, Honorable One here. Thank you for tuning in here in beautiful Capitol Heights, Maryland. I am back in the booth. That's right, live. Thank you all for tuning in and listening in as we continue to drop knowledge and bringing you health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Indeed. So I just want to thank my queen first and foremost for holding it down for the past 2 weeks. Well, I was kind of in the studio, but, on the sidelines. But definitely want to thank her for filling in. And we have an awesome show coming up for you. Today we got Brother Brian Odes, but he's going to be joining me actually at the 8:30 hour. So I just thought I'd just build and add on and bring some unique perspectives, give you some key insights of what's happening, what's going on, right? So before I get into all of my conversation, I would first like to thank those that came out. We had a lively conversation here this past Friday at eLife Media with I filled in for Baba Dr. Baruch and Sister Ad Malik. She's a host here and she does the weekly film series. So hopefully she'll have our Black Friday or gentrified screening here one evening as she continues to spread particular knowledge within our community. But we had this Friday the discussion and honoring tribute of our elder, Baba Dick Gregory. So I want to thank all of those that came out for that. But before I get into the rest of my conversation, I just want to thank everybody that continue to support the work, the empowering work that's been going on, that I've been doing, having opportunities to travel to different places and to speak. I'm always looking, and we're going to deal with that. We're going to talk a little bit with Brother Brian about the Black Speaking Network here that he founded. He's based in the Baltimore area. But I wanted to just give an example in terms of my evolution as a speaker and, being the Success Scholar, how I know. I just know everything that's manifesting right now. I mean, you have some bumps and bruises along the way, but I can honestly attest and affirm that the best is yet to come, that the absolute best is yet to come. And speaking of that, I would like to, promote and mention, for those who may not know, I am the best-selling co-author. I don't say that I'm the author. I am a co-author in the book. For those that would like to say that I didn't write a book, I say that I co-authored because that's why my picture is right there. And yes, so this is Les Brown, and this is Dr. George Frazier, and this is myself. So Les Brown is known as an internationally world-renowned motivational speaker. Of course, he speaks all over the world, and he can get anywhere between $25,000 to $100,000 to speak. So more than some people make in an annual salary. And so when I partnered, and you can walk up to him and ask him, "Hey, man, would you like for me to partner with a book with you?" Just test, just run a little test and see if they would, in fact, partner with you. Everybody has that option. Everybody has that freedom. But I will share what I knew that would happen from that. See, because to me, it's not just about that. It's about, having particular skills and particular knowledge and showing up at the right places. And before you know it, people will say, "Look, I think that you're the right kind of person that our organization needs, right? So that's what I'm going to talk about with our brother Brian Odes of the Black Speakers Network, which is growing and growing, which I was instrumental in some of the early foundation building with that. And, I'm acting as a sponsor this year for that. So I'm looking forward to that conference coming. But I want to mention actually three things, that can determine different levels of success. And I'll share, for instance, and I attended a lot of different workshops and trainings, and, I've learned some key fundamental things that I can see 97% of the population simply does not know, right? They just do not understand it. And that is, there are those that brand themselves and there are those that have not, right? You have to establish yourself. You have to set yourself apart on some levels. You have to be that maverick, if you will. So again, several key, I'll just speak really briefly about three components of branding oneself, right? In network marketing terms, it's called edification, right? You've heard that term. You edify your upline, and you build, you leverage their credibility, their successes, right? And you follow a particular script. And so what I've been able to do is brand myself by association, right? You have to brand yourself by association. And there's no better way, what I believe sincerely as a public speaker, for me, there was no better way than to launch my author life and career by doing that, right? By partnering with none other than Les Brown and Dr. George C. Fraser, right? Yes. And George C. Fraser, he has the Power Networking Conference every year, yes. And it's been at the Gaylord for the past few years. Indeed. So by doing that, I establish that I roll in a different kind of circles, right? Someone acknowledged and has validated my attributes, skills, and my testimony, right? We all have a story to share, and that's what you got to get good at. So the next one is by branding through your achievement. Many of us have different attributes, whatever school we went to, or, you are some type of football player, or, you broke some records, or, whatever it is that you're trying to do, you did something uniquely, right? So you have to ask yourself, what is that you've done? So my branding of my achievements, and I feel that you can't get no better way, right? I mean, I'm just really the foundation for personal self-development industry is being a lifelong learner, being a good student and learning from your mistakes. So when I say I'm branded by achievement, my greatest achievement to this date, and there are a few, I'd say was my reading endeavor, and how I read from age 20 to 31. I read 100 books a year for 11 years, right? So with that, I believe sincerely that we have the opportunity to brand ourselves through our unique achievements that we may have. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, the next one is through branding through a book, right? Now, here's what you can do, all right? Some people may say, I'm not ready to write a book. I'm not ready to be an author. I say, one, that establishes your credibility in a particular subject. What do you have? What's your credentials? Who certified you? Who validated you? Who gave you your quals to say that you are relevant? You are, on a particular knowledge level to speak, to teach, to offer advice, to assist, right? So again, now, whether anyone choose to believe that these two individuals are worthy of those particular attributes, I'd say what I mean, those two particular individuals, I mean Les Brown and Dr. George C. Frazier. I just say that's, okay, for me right now. And I don't expect, you can't reasonably expect to be where other individuals are when you're just starting off. So you got to crawl before you walk. You got to pay your dues, right? You got to put in the relevant work. You got to show up. You got to show up ready. You got to be a good student. You got to assess yourself, right? Develop your skills, develop products, develop services, right? And you got to look the part, right? So I learned some things from several individuals, Guru Builder, and you have to maintain that brand. You have to maintain that image. And, there need to be like a hill of progression. There needs to be different levels of progression that you show in your life, in your career. And, just this past weekend, there was the Vegan Soul Fest in Baltimore. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, but, of course, we broadcast here at Everlasting Life, a vegan soul restaurant, each and every week here. And so, encouraging individuals to live a healthy, holistic lifestyle is another attribute that I believe sincerely, is how, I'm going to brand myself a little differently. And those that want to live, will certainly hear that message and appreciate that, because it's coming from a good place of knowing that, American society is a unhealthy society, and many of us, we need to hear that. We need to see somebody living that's actually experiencing results. And so that's what I do with my evolution, and, ensuring that I'm practicing what I preach. But going back, let me go back here. I wrote some kind of comments in terms of different successful speakers. And coming up here, I'll be going to the Natural Products Expo. That's going to be in the Baltimore area. Looking forward to that. And that's my September 13th through the 15th. I would encourage individuals who, are into the healthy and holistic lifestyles, or like I say, those that want to live. Look, you got to come, man. You gotta be there. It's not a big investment involved, but sometimes you got to get out there and show up, particularly around healthy, people and attributes. So that's what, sincerely I would suggest. So with that as well, I'll mention coming up in November, we just put in the paperwork for today is the first day of school, and shout out to those Bowie State alum and Bowie State University professors, of course, as well as the Bowie State students that will be heading to school. So we're going to have two things. We're going to show Black Friday, part 2. That's not part 1 or the remix, but part 2. So we're going to drop that on the November the 6th. And November the 8th, we're going to have a panel discussion with several of the scholars that have joined me here. So I'm calling that the Super Bowl of scholars. So we're going to bring that. We're going to bring that to Bowie State University. Shout out to Brother Dr. Raymond Shorter, who has, partnered, and we have spoken about how we're going to make that happen, how we're going to do that. For the past few months, we've been waiting for the school year to start. So now it's here. So we are ready to go. So again, maintaining your brand. You got to connect to the right speakers, and thinking and speaking about that, and how I'm going to combine some of these to talking about branding of your book and branding by achievement, right? And how I mentioned that, you may not necessarily write a book, but you know some successful individuals who have wrote a very, very successful book. Why don't you invest in them? Why don't you, if you believe in their book that much, get 10 of their books. You can get 10 of these books. Yes, with my picture on it, indeed, and your audience will be impressed. Shake your head, yes. Yes, they will be. Indeed, they should be by some of the things that these individuals say, what they have stood for, and the barriers that they've overcome, and particularly my story. So I know that you can get something out of that. So I say get 10 of these books or 5, get them wholesale, and, just roll, And I'll just give you an example of who has done that. And I didn't learn this until a little later, but Tony Robbins, right? International motivational speaker. I didn't know this, but he worked with Jim Rohn for a long time. Jim Rohn is like serious bad, but Tony Robbins. And I did not know this, but Tony Robbins actually read 100 books a year for 7 years, right? So yeah, I got him beat a little bit. I kept on going, huh? So I'm just saying that I'm in good company. I know I'm in good company. And so what I'm simply saying is if Tony Robbins ran around and did things for Jim Rohn, that's what I did for these two gentlemen, and they taught me everything I know. And I do have the interview with Ona Brown and John Leslie that I did a few weeks ago here. And Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, but definitely I had the son and daughter of Les Brown on with me. So it's really great to have, children that are continuing with that legacy. So, again, and I've read several books by Tony Robbins over the years and some of my other phenomenal individuals. Because I was looking at the top speakers in the world, historically motivational speakers, as well as people that get paid a lot of money to speak. And what's interesting is what you find, most of the individuals have been politicians. Just the list that I've seen, and you can show me something different. But as far as the motivational speakers, you have Norman Vincent Peale. and I was looking at some of their quotes, and he said, one of them, he said, empty pockets never stopped anyone. Empty hearts and empty minds stops everyone, right? So that made me think, you got to have a heart about something. You got to have a passion, and your passion creates your purpose. So you got to understand who you are and what you're trying to become. So that's Norman Vincent Peale. I think he said another, change your thoughts, change your world, right? A lot of people want to, just think they're going to change the world and not change themselves. And it doesn't start like that. Life doesn't revolve around external forces. Be the change that you want to see. All right. And the next one, I read this book some years ago, Stephen Covey, and he made a statement, and he said, the key is not to prioritize your schedule, but to schedule your priorities, right? Just think about that. Just think about schedule your priorities. What are the priorities that you have, and do you actually put those in terms of a process of what's important to you? All right. So you got to think about those things. And going back, during my Navy time and right before I got out, being a reader, I've read about a lot of different people, but it wasn't until I connected to network marketing where several light bulbs went off, right? I went to a presentation. I'm not going to say the company, but the initials were ACN. But, I got some phenomenal, amazing training from that company. And that's where I heard about Zig Ziglar. And he one of the statements that Zig said was, failure is an event, not a person, right? So I want you all to think about that. Just it's an event, an experience, not who you are. You got to really internalize that. Don't internalize the failure, but do you learn from it? Do you think about the evolution, who you want to become, and how to create that? I create it through gaining knowledge, showing up. You become what you read about the most, who you associate with the most, and what audio books or what you're listening to. So you have to apply those types of things. So, and one more, I mentioned Norman Vincent Peale, Tony Robbins. Yes. And of course, one of my teachers, Les Brown, he's doing a phenomenal job. He's certainly doing a phenomenal job, but really excited to have worked with him and now continuing on and keeping the legacy going as he opens up opportunities for his children. He's like, look, talk to my children. Look, I gotta keep this generational wealth going. What they say, a good parent leaves an inheritance to his children and the children's children.
Yeah, righteous man leaves.
Righteous man
to his children's children.
To his children's children, right? Amen. Yeah. So definitely. So I hope my guys get ready to call in. But I want to mention several months ago, I actually sponsored. I was a sponsor of the Toastmasters District 18, and she's supposed to have been coming in, but we'll work on that. But I got this good book, man. I got this really good book, and this is from the world champions of public speaking, Dana Lamont, right? And he participated in over 1,000 programs. He's a professional speaker, an MC, or an award recipient, or a member of the audience. So this book is called Master of Ceremonies. So I've been getting several opportunities to moderate various panels over the past few weeks, the past few months. So yes, and if you have a dope event, yes, you gotta invite the Success Scholar, best-selling author here. That's how you got to do it. And we've interviewed several amazing individuals over the past year and a half. I mean, I was gonna go through a line by line of all those individuals, of who we've actually had over the past few weeks, past few months. But I'll save that for another time. And I got some books here as well before we get to our guest before he calls in. And I just said to discussion, man, it's a lot of good things going on, and we had 2 amazing shows here the past couple weeks, and it made me think about this gentleman. See, being a Success Scholar, this is Mr. Donahue Peebles. I've read an article about him about college. See, a lot of people, they want to push their children's legacy or what they expect for their children onto you. So you have to ask the question. I mean, not to try to think that he was encouraging people not to go to college, but he said that he didn't. And, and I did not necessarily put it out as a conversational piece to suggest that we should not. But, sometimes, you got to know, like, hey, I got mine. Let's roll. So I don't know if I have my guests on. Brother Brian? Okay, no, not yet. So let me see. Make sure that we are getting my guests in. But I guess we got a couple more seconds. Got a couple more minutes. But yeah, but a lot of good things have been going on since I've. Oh shoot! I ain't gonna stop that. That's okay. Oh, let's keep it going. Yeah. So, but let me share some of the little tips. And this is a blind individual, and he was the keynote of this District 18 conference of Toastmasters, and I was a sponsor, was at the head table with this gentleman, and, I was able to get some. Sometimes you got to get those little conversations in there. You got to hold some conversations. So, again, the first thing he says in this, number one tip or tool in his Master the Ceremonies, the MC's Handbook for Excellence, right? The first thing he says is commit yourself to excellence before accept the job of MC. The master or mistress of ceremony plays a significant role in the success and quality of a program. Even if you're being chosen as the MC was someone's afterthought. You should undertake the responsibility with forethought. The job of the MC should not be taken lightly. When you accept the job of MC, commit yourself to an excellent performance. That is, resolve that you will give your best to the program, to the participants, and to the audience. Man, so I just say that we got to really connect these dots on this to make these happen. And to move, I'm sorry, I'm texting my guest here who's going to be calling in a second, but we are definitely, but what do you say next? Let me read this really fast here. So, become familiar with the program prior to arriving at the event. If you have been chosen to be the MC, obtain a program schedule in advance to allow enough time to prepare yourself. If you can obtain a copy of the program, talk with the program coordinator about the schedule. It is important that you know the order of events and the timing of those events. Think the program through completely, understand the logistical flow. So that was good information. That is good information and good insight. So I am looking forward to that. So, but as that's me. No, that was me. Yeah. So, yeah. If the program coordinator has not done it for you, prepare a time schedule that takes into account each part of the program. Be sure that all relevant parts can occur within the overall time set for the program. The duration of the event may have to be extended, or some activities may have to be deleted to meet the publicized time schedule. So again, that's from this Master the Ceremonies. So I'm going to go to a quick break, hopefully get our call up here, if that's okay. But got my cards here, and I am making moves. We are going to another level. Got my Don Peebles book, and this is Dr. Randall Pickett's book right here, everybody. Yeah. Good person to know, good person to know, good person to know, and sure then you'll grow. Black Faces in White Places. He was the winner of The Apprentice, and with the Trumpster, 10 game-changing strategies to achieve success and find greatness. So definitely looking forward to that reading. I mean, I read it some time ago, but got to get a little bit more into it, and now I have the newest one. The newest one I just got was The Campus CEO. So that's really, really, really good. And we got to know and study these different people. And sometimes it's like, as I was thinking, I really appreciate many of the jewels that many of these amazing individuals have dropped over the past few years. So without further ado, allow for me to bring to the eLife Media audience none other than this young superstar speaker and founder of Black Speakers Network. He is an amazing gentleman, and he is pioneering the movement for speakers and African-American speakers and black speakers all over the world. But I know him as none other than internationally renowned speaker Brian Oates. Welcome, Brian. Hey, Brian, wait a minute. We got to check here. We got a sound? Are you here? All right, wait a minute. Man, did he miss my intro? Brian Oates. All right. Wait a minute. Not getting you up here. All right, Brian, we got you? Okay, I'm not getting Brian here. Let me try to hang up and call back. Hang up and call back. Brian, I don't know if we got that here. Say again?
Take a break, call in, we'll bring them in.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, y'all. We can call right back. All right.
Oh, yeah, welcome to the party, baby.
There he is. There he is.
Yeah, I'd like to send a few shouts out to New York City, Chicago town, the Motor City, Cincinnati, Ohio, Avondale downtown, and Walnut Hills. Hollywood is all good, baby. Yeah, I'm international. A shout out to Hamburg, Germany, London, England, and yeah, the Leaning Tower Pizza. I'm ready to eat. Wiggle it, mama. Yeah. Yeah, check it out. Oh, you're so captious. You got me in your groove. Got me acting like a monkey. And yeah, I'm turning flips. I've been around for quite some time. Think I should know by now.
All right, baby. Everybody, thank you all for tuning in, listening in. I'm not sure, but I gave a phenomenal, I believe it was phenomenal, introduction to Brian Oates, but, you know, you all heard it, but he is now live with us. Welcome, bro. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on? The Success Scholar. I am honored and excited to be on the show. Good evening. And I'm doing excellent. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great, man. It's just good to hear your voice here. Been wanting to get you in here for quite some time. You know, you're doing some amazing things here with this Black Speakers Network, man. Huh?
Hockey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Everybody hears you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, I was saying, I'm excited to be on the show. Thank you so much. It's just even though we can't be in person and
Right.
some technical difficulties come and go, but guess what? It is whether it's virtually or in person.
Yes.
I always appreciate being in the presence of the Success Scholars. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, man. So as I was saying, you know, you started this Black Speaker Network. Can you just share what was your drive? What did you see out there that you felt that we needed a Black Speakers Network? Can you share what was your vision with that?
Absolutely. And you know what? I appreciate you asking that. And Hockey, you probably know, I think you were there from the very beginning.
Yes,
when
sir.
we first kicked off, and this idea of a Black Speakers Network was just a thought. But in order to answer that question, if it's okay with you, I'd just like to share a little bit about my story. And,
Yes.
You know, that'll help
Please.
answer that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. So Brian Oates, Baltimore, Maryland. I am the second, the youngest of two siblings, and growing up, I was one of those kids that would sit in front of the television and get excited about the NASA space shuttle launches. I was that was me. Like, I wanted to go to space camp. Like, I wanted to be an astronaut. Like, that was my jam. So,
Yeah.
my whole path going through our school was going to engineering, and extreme introvert. And this all ties into the speaking piece because I tell people all the time, Hockey, like, I'm not like you, man. I feel like you probably came out of the womb just speaking and, like, presenting, writing books, day one, and just, had this magnetic personality. Me, I was a severe introvert. Like, I couldn't lead two people in silent prayer, let alone, deliver a keynote speech.
Yeah, right.
So a couple things happened. When I got to college, I realized that, hey, as excited as I am about engineering, I hit this little course called Calculus 2, differential equations.
Yeah.
I said, let me just go see what the School of Business is talking about. And that's why I landed, man. But, I got to Morgan State University here in Baltimore, where I did my undergrad. And a young girl named Nora Ansar came into the room one day. We were in a class, and she was all excited about this program called Toastmasters.
Yes.
And she was just ecstatic, and she wanted to bring it to Morgan State University. And at the time, very few, this was 10 years ago, actually 11 years ago, it was 2006, and very few Toastmasters clubs operated on college campuses. And for anybody that's listening and not familiar with Toastmasters, it's essentially an organization that helps you develop your public speaking, communication, and leadership skills. There are literally thousands of clubs all across the world in 116 countries last time I checked. And, they're in churches, nonprofit organizations, community groups, etc. So she started this Toastmasters group, and I got excited. I got excited for two reasons. One, as I mentioned, I'm an introvert. And two, I was kind of lost at that point because I dropped out of engineering school, signed up for business. But, Haki, I was business administration. So, what does that even mean? Like, I wasn't an accountant. I wasn't a finance guy. I wasn't a marketing guy. Like, I was literally, in school kind of without a specific direction. But through Toastmasters, it allowed me to fall in love with speaking. And then later I learned that, hey, speaking is very powerful. Our voices are powerful. We have an amazing story, especially as Black people, folks from the African diaspora, everybody. But I know that there's a unique message to be told there. And so through Toastmasters, I started kind of building a network of speakers, and I started hosting my own events in 2009 with the goal to provide a platform for folks that really wanted to, they had a message inside them, Haki, just like you do, and they just were struggling to find a way to connect to the audience that they were meant to serve. And that's kind of how we got started. So Black Speakers Network was really birthed out of a desire to speak, a desire to work with speakers, and a desire to serve. And that's kind of, where we landed now.
Yeah, great. Yeah, okay, that sounds interesting. Yeah, so, let me tell you, I learned about Toastmasters when I was in the Navy. One of the warrant officers told me that he thought that I should do it. But, when you're young and you're just like, man, I'm not. Yeah, I ain't paying attention to that old man. You just don't take. Sometimes you don't take professional development seriously and personal self-development seriously. So when I heard more about it, from different speakers, I was like, yeah, it's good, solid organization. So I met people. But yeah, so I just, I'm excited about the growth of the Black Speakers Network and what you all have been doing. You've had some amazing speakers who have blessed some of the upcoming best speakers that are coming out, and I just have to give a shout out. Cheryl Wood, She's straight out of BMOA. She represent, but she is just like, kind of blowing up the spots, all over. So, she came and trained under Willie Jolly and Les Brown, but she's doing some amazing things. But you've had many others. You've had many others, to come and partner and collaborate. So who are some of the individuals in your network so far that you've collaborated with?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, and one, I do not take credit for Cheryl. In fact, early on when we first started, my whole goal was I scanned the marketplace and I said, okay, what organizations are really out here that serve speakers? And then specifically, what organizations exist to serve, people of color? And I really want to do something to really impact that pipeline. So we haven't mentioned it yet, but, the mission of Black Speakers Network is to equip, connect, and inspire the next generation of Black professional speakers. I say the next generation. It has nothing to do with age. It has to do with that individuals who have the talent, they have the ability, they have the desire to speak, but are really struggling to put all the pieces together. And as you know, Haki, when you make that transition from amateur speaker to, a person that's, okay, I want to speak occasionally, or I have a message, or I may be a Toastmaster, or, I have a little bit of content, but, maybe I haven't been paid, maybe I have, to now, okay, this is something I really want to pursue full time. Well, that stops being a hobby and that becomes a business. And you have to structure it in that way and really think about the full life cycle of what you're trying to accomplish. Because everybody wants more speaking engagements, but speaking engagements, in my opinion, is a healthy byproduct of the right success habits that professional speakers have to put in place to get consistent results. And we can talk about that later. But, going back to your question, I think the big thing there is I started reaching out to my own network, which has been growing. Black Speakers Network, we officially launched in January of 2016. And at this point, I've been, a part of a few different organizations. But Cheryl Wood was one of the first people I reached out to. And actually, she did our very first call. We used to do these power speaker calls, and she spoke on it, and she was only supposed to speak for an hour. And anybody that knows Cheryl, knows that she's either two speeds. She's either on or off.
Right.
When she's off, she's probably asleep. So she's on. And that call, anybody that joins Black Speakers Network today, still to this day, we have that as part of the onboarding process for folks that come on. So the very first thing that we send them is that Cheryl Wood audio, and it's great.
Oh, wow.
So they get that right away, and most people are like, okay. And she talks about everything, how to get paid as a speaker. She talks about how to position yourself as an expert, how to, what type of marketing materials. At a high level, she hits on a lot of different stuff. But there's some really great people. Ty Howard, I spent an hour and a half with him on the phone a couple of days ago. Operates the Baltimore Speakers Bureau here. There's some incredible people. And, of course, I wouldn't even be speaking at all if it wasn't for the person that influenced my speaking career the most from a distance, and that's Craig Valentine, also here in Columbia, Maryland, 1999. World champion public speaker. So there have been a lot of people that have been directly and indirectly involved. Certainly Quinn Conyers,
Quinn, shout out to Quinn.
Jonathan Passon. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just a shout out to Quinn.
Yeah, these people, and that's the thing. I feel like when you make a decision to move forward in a specific direction, and not when you think about it, but when you really decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do, the people, resources, and opportunities that you need to bring that to fruition will become attracted to you, and that's what happened with us.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, man. Okay. So sounds like you got some good operations. I mean, you've had Samantha McCoy on. So give a shout out. I got to shout my B-more people out. We represent all over. And
Samantha is amazing. I have to shout her out for sure, because Samantha is the founder and owner of Mission Key LLC, and she is also our director of communications and public relations for Black Speakers Network. So she has absolutely been instrumental in helping us grow. And she I have to serve as her PR person because she never gives herself enough credit. But I definitely, she is incredible.
Yes, indeed. Brother Rashad Bowtie Mills, he just chimed in. So shout out to him, and my brother Dern over at Morgan State holding it down still.
Dern, yes. So many, and a lot of these people. If you want to check anybody's success, check the legacy. Check where people are from. Check the stock, right? And my stock is right there at, Morgan State University. Toastmasters has been, catalyst and Toastmasters in general. These folks are at different places in their career and have achieved various levels of success, and they all have their own unique skills to bring to the table, as were you. I mean, you, Aki, were, you sat across the table with the original 12, with Tiffany Bethia and Robin Haynes and Kimberly Rice Ogletree and Pearl, all those folks. And when it was just a vision, and you listened and gave feedback, and now we're 1,400 members strong across most of the U.S., 10 countries, and continuing to grow.
Oh, wow, man! Yeah, I didn't hear the recent updated numbers. So yeah, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And you know, it's good when I see persons that are around my age and younger. Like I had Dominique in here like a few months ago, man, and I was just like, I told him like, look, you ready? Like I brought him in. He came in the studio. I was just like, look, I mean, this guy is phenomenal. You know, I mean, he's read all these books. I'm like, how old are you again?
Well, you talking about Dominique Brightmon?
I'm just gonna say, like you say, Oprah, we gonna say Dominique. Yes.
Yeah. This brother, well, he's a library scientist,
right?
You know,
yes.
So he like you can give him any topic and he can research it. But that's the thing, like you attract those type of people in your atmosphere. That's really, you know, Black Speakers Network. That's really what we are. So, you know, when we say equip, connect, and inspire, equip, you can think about training and development. So, you know, we, of course, offer virtual training, webinars, live events. You actually are a sponsor of our BSN Live North American Tour, which we're super excited about, where we are going to be, you know, we already kicked off in Baltimore in July. We're going to be hitting D.C. and Atlanta next, as well as L.A. and New York and Toronto, Canada, where we have like 50 people. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's all about, you know, having those connections. But the big thing there is that, you know, we equip. Our goal is to train and leverage the collective intelligence of the folks that are a part of BSN. The next thing is connect. So with 1,300 people, that's great. But one thing that, you know, you asked me why Black Speakers Network, one of the struggles that we've had specifically in the African-American community from an entrepreneurship standpoint has been effectively partnering with each other. You know, everybody wants to be, you know, king of that castle. You know, there's a lot of ego, you know, just in business, period. But I really wanted to, like, I'm not just focused on helping Black speakers or, you know, developing Black business speakers. I'm focused on developing Black business, period. And so our goal with each person that we have, each person that joins BSN automatically gets plugged into our platform partner program, which is a suite of entrepreneurs that are specifically focused on providing services for speakers. So if you need a photographer, videographer, you need a one-sheet website design, graphic design, copywriters, folks like Samantha that does PR. We want to be that one-stop shop to broker those connections and help you get the resources that you need. So that's the difference with BSN. And you asked, hey, what is the market gap that we were filling? There are a lot of speakers bureaus, but the reality is that, you know, speaker bureaus can be great for you, but for the vast majority of speakers, you know, the majority of your income isn't going to come through bureaus. It's unless you're a really high paid celebrity type of speaker. Most folks, you're going to be hitting the grindstone and you're going to be responsible for your own marketing, your own development. And so that's where we come in. Like, we're not there to, you know, you don't sign up and just magically get booked to speak. We want to train you, develop you, get you plugged into a thriving community of speakers so that you can learn how to do what you need to do in order to get to the next step. Wow.
Man, you sound really good with articulating, you know, the whole minefield, if you will, of speaking. And, you know, it's just really, really good to hear you articulate it as fluidly, because many people get into the field, even with myself. And, you know, I don't necessarily define myself totally as a speaker per se, but, you know, sometimes you realize that, you know, you have to create different avenues, different streams, different partnerships, different collaborations. You be ready to reinvent yourself, right? And reinvent your message. Yeah. So,
absolutely.
So so what can one expect from this phenomenal conference that's going to be coming to DC? I know we had to change the dates around. So what can we expect? And I'll make sure that I plug this again here to the eLife
Yeah.
Media audience. What's going to be popping there?
Yeah, so the great thing, and I'm actually really excited. That's the best thing that we could have done is push back the dates a little bit for the DC event because we learned a lot in Baltimore, and so what we want to make sure that everyone has when they come to a BSN event, you're not coming to, just network or, sit there. Like our objective is to make sure that you are getting a holistic learning experience. And here's what I mean by that. Everything that we do, so out of those 1,300 or 1,400 speakers that we have now, I probably had one-on-one conversations with about 20% of them. And we collect a lot of data and we get a lot of feedback from speakers. So I'm constantly having conversations like this every day. And so, as I mentioned earlier, everyone's number one question when they come into the business is, how do I get more speaking engagements? Great question. However, there's an excellent book, I forget the author's name, but it is basically called QBQ, or the question behind the question.
Okay.
And most of the time, when someone asks a question, there are several layers of questions below that question that are more immediate to be addressed before that. And the same is true with getting more speaking engagements. Oftentimes,
yes,
you would think the direct answer to that is, hey, I just need to find more venues to speak, or I just need to, make more phone calls. But what we found from working with these thousands of speakers is that most folks are struggling in one of 5 fundamental areas, and we kind of boiled it down and created our own competency model called the 5 M's. And so when you join BSN, our goal is to help you grow in one of those, in all 5 of those M's, but systematically through each one. So the first M is mission. The second M is getting clarity on your mission. The second is getting clarity on your message. The third M is marketing. The fourth M is monetization. And the fifth M is management. And so all 5 of those areas are critical. And typically when a speaker says, hey, I'm struggling to get more speaking engagements, or I don't understand how to get more, get myself out there, or to, build a brand. Really what they're saying, the question behind that question, Haki, is I have no idea how to market myself, or I don't even have a system in place right now, the management of tracking, who have I talked to, what speaking engagements have I done, who do I need to follow up with, or they're probably saying, hey, I have a good idea of what I want to talk about, but I really don't know my target market. I have no idea if my speech is a market-ready speech, if it is one that is just going to be entertaining or one that can actually I could charge for and continue to grow with. So those are the areas of clarity that we have to address first before, someone is market-ready. So to your original question, what can people expect at these events? Every single event that we do is focused on growing in all 5 of those areas. So we have one speaker helping you get clarity on your mission, which is identifying your core target audience and specifically helping you drill down on what topic is going to help you position yourself in the marketplace as a professional speaker, helping you with your message, which is how are you going to deliver and articulate that to your target audience. What value are you providing? What is your end result? What market need are you actually solving? Then we're going to focus on marketing, which is essentially the strategies and tools that you're going to use to reach your target market. Monetization, which is, yes, about making money, but more specifically, it's about thinking about all the different ways that your audience expects you to serve them. So that could be a webinar, that could be a book, that could be a CD. There are 20 different income streams open to you, but helping you get clarity on which one is going to work best for you. Right. And then finally, management, which is essentially those core fundamental business skills to help make it all come together. So that's what folks can expect to get at all of our live events, and really everything that we do is focused on one of those 5 M's.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Yeah, okay, man, that sounds good. And I know that these speakers that's going to be coming out of there, they're going to keep you engaged. They're going to keep you active. They're going to keep you inspired, but you're going to get some knowledge with that. So, I mean, can't you just hear the wisdom coming out this brother? So I just know for those that's going to be blessed to attend. I sponsored this event, because I'm like, look, at that date, I was like, I know I can't make it, but I'm going to bless somebody. So I gave my ticket to a student at Morgan State with Brother Dern, but I knew that this would be a phenomenal event coming to D.C. audience, and I'm here in Capitol Heights doing this show, so I just wanted to plant some seeds, and I know some other individuals, so we got time to pack it out, man. We're going to pack this thing out, all right, Brian?
Absolutely. I appreciate it. If anybody needs additional information, they could go to www.blackspeakersnetwork.com. They can also follow us on Instagram.
Yes,
a lot of Instagram, we have about 4,500 people following us on Instagram.
What?
Which is,
wow.
it's like, it's cool. It's become like our primary way to share information quickly and to get the word out there. Even more so than Facebook now, because you can do the short form video content. So, definitely follow us on Instagram at Black Speakers Network. And, you can join BSN. It's free, by the way. I don't think we mentioned that, but it's free to join. And you can get tapped into everything that we got going on.
All right, y'all. So you all heard it. Had Brian Oates here. So thank you, Brian. You keep up the good work, man. You go to another level, all right?
All right. I appreciate you, Hockey. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, all brothers and sisters. This has been phenomenal. Brian Oates, we've been talking about speaking. I had this Peebles book, my book here, and Dr. Randall Pickett's book, and Dana Lamont, the Master of Ceremony. So, I'm just excited. Black Speakers Network, dope, is going to be coming to D.C. It's going down. Just get you got to show up. You got to show up. You got to listen and balance out that knowledge with different people, and you got to be prepared to go to another level. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go to another level, y'all. Thank you. Till next week. Peace.
once, I wanna hear you say, oh, what a blast, kid. We sure had good fun while it lasted. Hung out with friends and hit the skins. Next week we're gonna do it again.
Nasty dogs.
Nose will tickle your rear, my nose is big. I'm not ashamed, big like a pickle. I'm still getting paid, I get laid by the ladies, you know I'm in charge. Both how I'm living and my nose is large. I get stupid, I shoot an arrow like Cupid. I use a word that don't mean nothing, like Luke did. I sang on Do What You Like, and if you missed it, I'm the one who said just grab them in the biscuits. Also told you that I like to bite. Well yeah, I guess it's obvious I also like to write. Oh yeah, the dudes get
living.